All right, cool. Hey, Max, thanks for joining me today.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Hey, I'm glad to be here, Grego. I am
Yeah.
great. I am great. It's 80 and sunny here.
God, that's crazy. It's in LA here. It's been raining for the last 2 days, and it's we're getting like flooding and stuff. I don't think it's very. It's got to be record rainfall in LA. It's crazy. The minute I move here, right?
So then you're the good luck charm because they need it.
Yeah. Yeah. No
Right?
kidding.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, listen, Max, could you just briefly introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. My name's Maxine 𝙖𝙙𝙫𝙀𝙀, but everybody calls me Max. And I was a late bloomer. I did not know what I was going to do. Actually, I hated high school. That whole routine, didn't go to college. And in my mid-30s, I found my way into styling. Actually, I started in store display, which led me to styling. And I didn't even know I was creative to that point. And that ended up leading me down a road to becoming a photographer. And so I was a commercial photographer for years and finally switched over to just the art side. And I am happily residing here.
So you are officially an artist.
I'd like to say so.
You are definitely, I can confirm, you're an amazing artist. Your work is amazing. And if anybody wants to see it, they can go to 𝙘𝙙𝙀𝙀𝙀𝙀.com to take a look. Her work is amazing. So that leads me to asking you, can you talk a little bit about your relationship to art and how long you've been interested in art?
Yeah, I started late. I grew up in Miami. And even though everybody thinks now of Miami as an art city, obviously at my age at that time, there was no art. I mean, on field trips at school, we would go to tourist attractions. So yeah, I went to the Serpentarium, the Seaquarium, and it's like no art at all. So I had no exposure to art until I somehow ended up discovering or finding my way into being creative. And that just woke me up, and it was still this kind of one step at a time. And I really think, I don't even think I stepped foot into a museum until I was in my 30s.
Wow.
And I think early on, I think back about the first shows that I can remember seeing. One was Sebastian Salgado Workers. And they were these huge black and white prints. They were documentary, but they were stunning. And then another one early on that I discovered was Mike and Doug Starnes.
Yeah.
And their work. And it was like that, when you see that thing that just triggers it.
Yeah.
It's like you hear interviews with musicians who talk about the fact that they know it's there and they access it. And I think I woke up to it late, but once I did, that was it.
Yeah. So those are your first memory of connecting to some type of artwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Because the scale of those works and the complexity, especially of the Starnes, is amazing. Yeah, I had a similar, that's funny that you say that about Miami, because I had a similar experience growing up part of my life there too. It's just a really unique place. The Serpentarium.
Right?
Nowhere else in the world.
No longer there. You remember the big snake in front?
Yeah.
That was opposite the building? They tried to salvage that because they were going to move it and save it, install it somewhere. But one of the cranes during that process made a mistake and there's no more snake.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's hilarious. Well, listen, let's talk about your taste in art. This is kind of a weird question, but I think it'll tell us a lot about you. What makes your taste and preferences in art unique?
I look for something with meaning. I don't want to just see a documentation of something or a version of something. I can see that. I can point my phone at it and I can take it. And yes, maybe it does take skill. It's a skill I don't have. I can't render something, but I'm not looking for a rendering because I feel like art is a form of communication. It's almost like a language. It's something that has a message. It relays something to you. It gives you, whether it's emotion, it can be happiness, introspection, whatever that you get from it. And that is what I'm looking for, something that helps me look at it in a different way, or look at a subject matter, or something that just makes me think. And that is really the kind of art I'm attracted to.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's like what you're describing is some sort of definite connection that's unique to all of us, you know, and unique to our preferences. That's a good answer.
Yeah, you know something, it's just like, how is it that you can hear a musician play a few seconds of notes and it can trigger sadness, happiness? It's kind of the same thing with art, even a color rendering. It can be, you can't predict it either. It is just this thing that triggers something.
So for you, is it safe to say that it almost doesn't even matter what the medium is or the execution of the piece, but it's more about how you connect with it on the levels you just described? Is that safe to say?
Yes, definitely, because I'm really open to all mediums and all forms. It just has to give me another point of view on the world or whatever it's saying. It's like, you know, it would be like writing an autobiography on yourself and rereading it. It's like I already know that story.
Yeah, good.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, do I have to keep repeating it? But then if you took what you know about me and wrote a biography or a story, well, then it becomes interesting.
Yeah, yeah, because it's another perspective. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Totally.
Max, you've purchased 2 pieces from me, so thank you. And where did you first see the piece that's behind you is called Pyramid? Where did you first see that piece?
I think I saw it on Instagram. I think I saw you in the stages of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept watching it, and I kept watching it along with your other pieces, which I love. And I just kept watching it, and I was attracted to it, and I was attracted to it. And then that was when I saw that you were going to the other art fair. And I thought, I love that piece. If I don't do this now, it's going to be one of those, it's like I should have done that. And I'm so glad I did it.
Yeah, I'm glad you did too. There was a lot of interest at that fair for that piece. So we took it off the market before I went in there. It got a red dot. What attracted you to that piece?
You know, I think it was I want to say color and shape, but that's really not it. I mean, I love the cross. That was definitely something that I just loved, that struck me. But, and even now, I stare at that thing every time I walk by it every day, and I see something different. I see something I didn't know was there. So I love that kind of piece where it's endless, and it just like, it gives my home meaning. And it just the study of it is just great to have it. And it just means more to me all the time because you keep discovering different things about it. And I don't know, for me, especially all the fragmentation and everyone in it, especially going through this crazy time that we're all in, it's just kind of says to me, like, we're all struggling, but we're all doing the best we can, which is, I think, really, you know, I could say that's what it means. You could say it means something else. We're all going to see something different. And I might see something different tomorrow,
Yeah.
But that was one of the things that struck me about it. And it's not, the other thing I like about it, it's very positive. There's no negativity in it. It's just this common struggle. And it's kind of like we're all in this together, as imperfect as we all are, but here we are.
I like that interpretation because it articulates some of the things I was thinking when I made it, because it definitely portrays a struggle. But the composition goes up to a pyramid, hence the name at the top. And a lot of times, I had somebody comment at the fair that they liked the way that the cross was handled, but normally they hate seeing a cross in any type of piece of artwork or photography or anything, just because it's so easy, but it's also very charged. But for some reason, I think you're right. I mean, for some reason that had to be there. That wasn't in the original piece and was added towards the end. And it really, I think it made the piece.
I do too, because for me, it's definitely a symbol, and it's a symbol that you can read what you want into it. For me, I look at it as a symbol. I don't see it as a religious context.
Yeah.
But I see it just as a common, something common between the whole pyramid of people.
Yeah.
Just that reaching for something beyond themselves.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have to be religious, but it's a symbol.
Yeah. Great explanation. So how is the process of working with me for, this is a collector interview, so it's going to go out there and other people are going to watch it that are thinking about collecting from me. How is the process of working with me, and how did the piece get delivered? And can you just briefly describe that process?
Yeah, it was excellent. It was kind of funny because when I finally decided, I was like, I have to buy this piece, because if it goes, because there's never going to be two pieces that look alike.
Mm-mm.
And I thought, I'm going to be really angry if I miss this. And I think I don't know, I DM'd you or something, and I just said, I've got to have this piece. So please, it's sold. And you were literally on the flight out to LA for the fair.
Yeah, that's right.
So luckily, it was a great intervention, and communicating was great. The piece came just impeccably packed. It was in perfect condition. And the certificate of authentication is beautiful that it came with. Yeah, and the framing was beautiful. I mean, the presentation is excellent.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. Because so much can go wrong at that point. So
yeah,
it's good to hear. Do you have any words out there for anyone else watching this and thinking about collecting a piece from me?
Yeah, I think, the one thing is, like, especially being that, we're spending more and more time at our homes, but even if not, you can buy furniture, you can decorate your house. It's stuff, but a piece of art, and a special piece of art, is what adds the meaning to your house. And that piece has to be special. I mean, if it's not, it's just another piece of decoration.
Yeah.
And the one thing when you start collecting work you love is that you can put a piece you love on the wall. You can walk by that piece and look at it every day for years and love it every time you walk by, never tire of. And I think that, to me, is just the amazing thing about a great piece of artwork. Whereas, like, you think about video, you think about a movie, you think about all these other really big endeavors, but yet a piece of artwork, a stage, whether it's a photograph or a painting, you can just keep staring at that and never fall out of love with it.
Yeah.
And there's something about it. And, even when you think about maybe even places you've lived or times of your life, it's part of the memory.
Yeah. One thing that I had come up with recently I was working with a marketing coach, and we were trying to just identify exactly what you're talking about. And what I came up with was the term that the intention of my work for my collectors is to bring joy and energy to their walls. And so what I mean by that is that, like, I don't ever want to produce something that doesn't have a lot of energy to it. I want it to have movement and energy. I don't want it to be static. And then the other thing is I'm a collector as well. And I want to bring to people that feeling that I get every time I happen to look over at the wall or walk past a piece that it just fills me with joy. It's an indescribable feeling. And that's it, right?
You know, it's like a song you love.
Mm-hmm.
You love it every time you play it.
Yeah.
It's not like you love it, you're going to play it once and it's done. It's that enjoyment of hearing it over and over. It's just, and it does the same thing.
Yeah. And then as artists, we have the privilege of living and being around a lot of art, even our own art we collect, but it's also, some of it's a curse as well. So,
Right.
especially if you're not happy with what you're doing, which we were discussing earlier. So,
Right.
All right. Well, Max, thank you so much. I appreciate you as a collector and as a friend and as a human being. And is there anything else before we jump off that you'd like to add?
Just
say?
keep doing what you're doing. And
Thank
don't try
you.
to do anything different.
Good.
You know, whatever is in your gut, because that's what's been taking you in the right direction. You know,
Thank
and
you.
I've watched the work grow, and it just keeps getting more, it's getting better, it's more meaningful, it's just like really amazing.
Thank you so much, Max.
Excellent, Greg.
All right.